These are the 6 reasons why it feels like it's so hard to let go of your avoidant ex and how to heal from them. The first reason is that the emotional highs and lows creates an addiction. Avoidants are notorious for creating an emotional roller coaster. They will give you just enough attention, and then when it gets a little bit too close for them, they will pull away from you. And over time, what this essentially does is it creates this cycle of closeness, withdrawal, and then brief reconnection, which causes your brain to crave their attention because they are training it to be that way. They want to just continue to do this because in that way they're able to manipulate you and keep you on the hook. That is their biggest power to control things, and that's essentially what an avoidant wants to do. So when you've gone through this for a long period of time, it is only natural that you are going to continue to do that because your brain is so used to being in that state. But the best thing that you can do here is to be aware that when you feel this way, it is a part of their cycle that they have put onto you. This is what's going to help you to acknowledge it and begin to start to move past this. Number 2 is that you are still seeking validation from them. Chances are throughout the relationship, you have been made to feel unworthy or rejected in some way. And because of that, there's a part of you that was seeking their validation because whenever you were able to get their validation, things went well. The relationship felt good and they actually expressed love to you. But the moment that you did something to make them feel vulnerable or make them feel an emotion that they don't want to feel, they pushed away. And what that did is that conditioned you to want to seek their validation and make sure that everything is okay, because when everything's okay, it feels like your life is going great and everything's aligning. And then when they pull away, it feels like things are crumbling down. But again, it is important for you to understand that this is just a part of that avoidant attachment style. You were worthy, you were a great partner. They were allowing this avoidant attachment style to cause them to not let the relationship to work. So the best thing that you can do here is to remind yourself that the only validation that you need is your own. Number 3 is that the relationship feels unfinished. This tends to be a big reason because an avoidant will not give you the closure that you're looking for. There are so many different unanswered things and reasons why this person was the way that they are to you, even though you did everything under the sun to try to make things work. And the thing about it is that there is no legitimate reason besides their avoidant attachment style causing these things to happen. And that's all that you really need to know here, because typically they are never going to give you that closure. If they were to give you that closure, that would require them to be vulnerable and open up and potentially feel emotions that they simply do not want to do. And they will do everything in their power to avoid that. So while you are trying to seek some type of closure for them, they're just simply not going to do it, and they're okay with that. But what you need to do instead here is to create your own closure. And the best way to start doing this is to realize how you did everything you possibly could to make this work, and they contributed little to nothing into trying to make this work. Reason number 4 is that the good times were really good. Avoidance can be incredibly loving and affectionate in short bursts before they pull away. And this causes you to crave more of that. What typically happens here is that you hold on to those moments and ignore the times where they were distant. And this is usually due to the immense amount of love that you feel for them, right? Love is such a powerful emotion. It, in fact, in my opinion, is the most powerful positive emotion you could ever feel as a human being. So it only makes sense that when you feel that, it will cause you to ignore all the different things and realities of this avoidant and the way that they were doing things to basically sabotage the relationship. So because of that, you are always blinded to seeing those things, and you are heavily focusing on those little bursts as to what the relationship was. So of course it's going to make you feel like you want the relationship, and it's hard for you to let it go. The most important thing that you could do here is to see the relationship as a whole. Understand how there was a lot of bad things that happened, in the sense that they weren't opening up to you. They were pulling away when you try to get close to them. Whatever that might be, you need to get a real bird's eye view of the entire thing so that you can see how this probably was not a good thing for you. There's a lot of real evidence to back this up, and the moment that you allow yourself to see everything is where you will realize this too. Number 5 is that they left you wanting more. Avoidants will very rarely express their emotions on a deep level. They will in some cases present that they're getting close to actually opening up fully to you, and the moment it seems like they're going to break through, they pull back. So what this ends up doing is it makes you feel like you are this close to getting to that point. And if you just stick it out a little bit further, they're going to break through and they're going to express all the love and emotions and everything that they've been holding back from you. But what is so important for you to understand is that this is by design. This is one of their ways that they manipulate you to continue to be in the relationship, even though you know that this is not what you want, because they are making you feel like there's potential here, and that, again, if you just stick it out a little bit longer, you're going to be able to break through and then things are going to be happy ever after. And that just is not the case here. They're not going to do that because, again, that violates everything that they're trying to do with being an avoidant. So it's important for you to understand that this is all part of their game. They are essentially leading you on so that you will stick around in the relationship, and the moment that it gets to that point that they could break through, they are typically always going to pull back. And reason number 6 is that you think that you can fix them. I know that there's a part of you that genuinely believes that you're going to be able to stick it out with them and make them realize how valuable you are and the relationship is to them. But you need to understand that an avoidant typically is never going to see it that way. They're not going to take anything that you do to try to make them realize this as that. They're only going to look at that as evidence as to why they feel legitimate in being an avoidant and doing these things. So while you're trying to be patient and while you're doing all of these things to try to go above and beyond to make things work, you are only making them feel that it is acceptable to be this way. But it is so important for you to understand that you are not going to be able to change this person. This person is only going to change when they actually want to. And this is something that they have to realize for themselves. Whether that is them realizing that they could lose an amazing person in you or whatever it might be, they have to be the one to make that decision, because this is going to be very tough for them. They are going to have to dig deep and to find out why they are this way, which is going to stem from their childhood and not getting their emotional needs met by their caregiver. And then they're going to have to actually put in work to try to work through this. And this is very challenging for them, but this is not your responsibility. It never was. What is your responsibility is you, and prioritizing yourself and figuring out what you need to do to heal from this. And I can tell you that the best thing that you can do here to achieve all of this is to go no contact with them, because in going no contact with them, you are going to separate yourself from them and the relationship so that you can begin to process these things. You can put yourself finally first and rebuild yourself up and heal from all of the different things that have gone on in being in this relationship. And once you're able to do that and redefine who you are again, you will then be able to find somebody who's going to love and appreciate you the way that you are when you're ready. I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.